Hello, people. Finished the book. Demonic Males. Apes and the Origins of Human Violence. It's a pretty bizarre picture on there. I ran out of books. We had to go to Books A Million last weekend, so I got three more that are a little bit more typical of what I read. But this kind of stuff is from this is from 20 years ago, easily, back when I was in my anthropology days, and that's what I was reading about. I clearly remember buying this, and it's on the shelf down here in Florida, so I brought it down here, but I don't think I ever read this book. And even as I read it, I was pretty sure that I had never read this book. It wasn't too bad. I used it to fill the time. I'm already on another book, on the new ones that I bought. Didn't take me very long to read this. This was published in 1996, and it was only 258 pages. So the book, Apes and the Origins of Human Violence, that's what it was about. There's a lot of speculation in this book, and it was pretty good. It was pretty interesting. He went through all the great apes, and really, it's us and chimpanzees that will hunt down our neighbors and try to catch them while they're by themselves with a gang and kill them. And it's not real surprising that it's us and chimps that do that, because chimps, I didn't know this. I know it now after reading this book. Chimps are closer to us genetically than they are to gorillas. There's a bigger difference between a chimp and a gorilla than there is between a chimp and a human. And they went kind of in great detail about how they discovered that. And I believe I have a little bit of that. I don't have hardly any notes at all. Third paragraph, page 41, and I believe this is when they were talking about when the news came out that chimps are closer to us than they are gorillas. Because if you just looked at them, you would never think that. And it wasn't just creationists that were upset about that. Everybody was upset about that. Third paragraph, page 41. With the overwhelming DNA evidence now before us, where can a skeptic turn? For anyone who still doesn't like the idea that we humans are more closely related to chimpanzees than gorillas are, what can be done? In the last century, the ultimate skeptical response to the discovery of fossils was to decide that God must have put them into rocks as an aesthetic or a philosophical experiment. To pretend that the earth has a history in the same way that he gave Adam a navel, to pretend that he had been born of a woman, that's pretty funny. For some creationist skeptics of contemporary times, on the other hand, an evil Satan laid down all those fossils in order to tempt us into accepting evolutionary theory. Likewise, one could argue that the molecular marks of a deep relatedness between humans and apes serve either a divine or a devilish plan. For most of us, however, the idea of a deceitful power working at that level strains credulity too severely. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. Omnipotent the Creator may be, but not weird. So a little bit of humor. There wasn't much humor in this, but there was a little bit. Top of 89. He does a lot of writing about hunter-gatherer peoples and judge civilizations. And he even talks about the book Type, which was a few books ago. I think I read Type while I was here, so it can't be more than 10 books or 12 books ago. Herman Melville turned 23 during the 3 weeks he lived among the Types in the latter part of July and early August of 1842. He left or escaped on August 9th and was picked up by an Australian whaler, the Lucien, which took him as far as Tahiti, where he was briefly jailed with some of the other crew on a questionable mutiny charge before escaping to another whaler. Surely 3 weeks was not much time to get to know the Types, but it was long enough for the young Melville to acquire a basic background that, supplemented through reading other travelers' narratives, could be turned into his first book. Type is an imaginative piece of literature in which the rough outlines of a real event have been passed through the mind of an artist, but Melville promoted his manuscript to publishers as a true story, absolute nonfiction. And when the book appeared at last in 1846, the author's preface boldly declared his tale to be strictly the unvarnished truth. And that's what I thought, that it was the unvarnished truth. But now we hear that he was only living among them for 3 weeks. Last 2 paragraphs, page 137. I don't remember what this is at all. Oh, now I remember what it is. I picked the bizarrest shit to read. The orangutans in Galdika's book peer out from hidden places in the rainforest, observing their earthbound scientific observers as strange fellow apes, simultaneously similar and different enough to inspire both fascination and fear. Wild orangutans nearly always retained and respected an invisible barrier between themselves and humans, but a powerful young male orangutan named Gundul, born in the wild, taken captive, now living free at the research camp as part of the ex-captive release project, had been around people long enough to have lost his fear of them. One day, Gundul attacked and raped an Indonesian cook at the camp. Galdicus describes this event in detail. I had never seen Gundul threaten or assault a woman, although he frequently charged male assistants. The cook was screaming hysterically. I thought, he's trying to kill her. Galdicus, after calling for help, fought the ape with every ounce of her strength, beat him with her fists, attempted to ram a fist down his throat, but with no effect. I began to realize that Gundul did not intend to harm the cook, but he had something else in mind. The cook stopped struggling. "It's all right," she murmured. She lay back in my arms, with Gundul on top of her. Gundul was very calm and deliberate. He raped the cook. I don't know why I got the last 2 paragraphs, but I'll go ahead and read the next one. Fortunately, the victim was neither seriously injured nor stigmatized. Her friends remained tolerant and supportive. Her husband reasoned that since the rapist was not human, the rape should not provoke shame or rage. Why should my wife or I be concerned? It wasn't a man. I don't know. I think there might be a little bit of stigma if a woman in the United States was raped by an orangutan. I think you might want to keep that quiet. Anyways, this was a decent book. I'm reading another one already, and I just started it last night. I'm like 10 pages into it. Thanks for watching.